Let's go, Green. Let's go, Green. Okay, good lead. Well done. Transition. Zombies. Let's go. Transition. Good. That's up. Here we are. Well done. Yeah, good. Touch is kind of good. Play. Good kill. Yes, Kate. Yes, Kate. Good ball, Presky. Well done. Yes, LP. Please, yes. Don't get it. Don't be good. Here we are. Feel both.
Let's win it!
Yeah. It's all that, yeah.
Going to let them Go back in.
Yeah, in like 2 minutes.
Okay. And do their own bit. Are we clearing up ground or are we out?
Today?
2 games.
2 games, yeah.
Obviously, go. Sorry, but I forget your name. I can see, right?
Camille.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
There should be enough. Give it a second.
Sorry, I did have to move it. Yeah? I didn't actually see the incident, but the people over here screaming. It's mad a little bit about the car. Oh, gold. Yeah.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
go then.
Is that where we'll do this from in the future? Or is it,
I don't know. I wish here had a roof. Just for the rainy days. I'm assuming you guys are roofers as well.
yes, yeah.
Some as well. Just all you.
Nah, just
I've been lucky so far. I haven't been rained on yet. I mean, today's not over.
it's a long season, yeah. There's plenty of opportunity.
The day's not over. So, yeah. Not looking forward to that day, though. I don't actually know what I'm going to do. It's just that corner, so yeah. Bob down at
Please welcome on to the pitch our officials and players and parents and supporters of our game today in the WSL. Devonport Strikers versus the South Hobart Football Club. Going through the lineups for South Hobart, number 1 in goal, Captain Gemma Harrow, number 3 Sophie Westwood, number 5 Cody Bedford, number 6 Caitlin Stalker, number 7 Madison Chambers, number 8 Jasmine White, number 10 Laura Davis, number 13 Danielle Cavagisa.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this round 7 WSL fixture between the Devonport Strikers and South Hobart at Valley Road. My name is Camille Douglas and I'll be taking you through all the action today in this game and in the NPL game between these two sides that occurs later on as the two sides make their way onto the pitch. The Devonport Strikers players taking onto the pitch with them a female who's been a significant influence in their lives as part of celebrating Female Football Week. The Devonport Strikers have embraced this week at the club, and it's fantastic to see that represented on the pitch today. I'll take you through the teams. Devonport Strikers coach Tom Ballantyne, name an unchanged 11 from last week's victorious team. In goals, Michaela Mitchell. Number 2 is Tully Park. 5 King. 6 Bidwell. 10 Foot. 11 Wiley. 12 White. 14 Doy. 17 Knight. 21 Sims. And number 25 Holly Emmett. On the bench, Taylor Payne, Sullivan, Smith and Matthews for South Hobart, coached by Ken Morton. They've made a couple of changes to the team that beat Riverside last week. And they start with Farrow in goals, Westwood, Clifford, Stalker, Chambers, White, Davis, Kanagisa, Petheram, Batchelor and Olahead. On the bench for them, Browning, Roberts, Mamage, Peterson and Ponting. Changes to the 11 coming out, Ollington out of the squad altogether, and Browning going to the bench. Batchelor and Chambers coming in. Batchelor will slot into the back 4 in place of Ollington, and Chambers will move into the wing in Browning's position from last week. Now the Devonport Strikers in South Hobart are two giants, titans of the women's game in football, Tasmania. Both the last two teams to win the WSL, the Devonport Strikers last year, South Hobart the year before. The Devonport Strikers swept all before them last season, winning the statewide cup, winning the league, and it has been nearly a season and a half since the Devonport Strikers have tasted defeat in the Women's Super League. But the last team to do that was South Hobart in their victorious WSL season. So both teams undefeated thus far this season, and a perfect denouement to round one, if you like, the first set of 7 games as we make our way through the roster. Both teams have played every other team, have remained undefeated. Both teams sit on 15 points. The Devonport Strikers atop the table on goal difference. So an enormous game today that could certainly shape the way this title campaign plays out for both teams. As we await the official's whistle to get this fixture underway, round 7 action from the WSL about to get underway. Whitney Knight of the Devonport Strikers gets us underway. All the way back to Georgia Foot, who looks long initially. Will come to Sims. Finding White. Gets it to Doy. Last having played in Victoria for Heidelberg. Devonport Strikers in the front foot early, but Sims caught offside. Reprieve for South Hobart there, and they'll get play back underway. Longer for South Hobart. White intercepting for the Strikers. Losing out though, and a chance for South Hobart to drive forward. The pass a little heavy from Stalker, and Mitchell happy to collect. Up towards the halfway line. 3 jump. Foot wins out. Olahead reads it best. Comes all the way back to Farrow. As both teams settle themselves into the game, finding their shape, playing out from the back. Into the feet, not quite trapped there by Jasmine White, formerly of this parish. Scored plenty of goals for the Devonport Strikers, as she will and has for South Hobart. Emmett to Sims. Through her. She battles with Clifford. Clifford puts it behind. The first corner of the fixture for the Devonport Strikers. Could we see an early goal here? They say early goals make good games. And those fans gathered here today, we're well pleased to see a great game. As mentioned, this is a seismic clash in the shape of the season, so a goal fest will be a pleasure for the fans gathered here. King into the box, headed away. Comes to Doy, she flicks over her shoulder. Not quite clear convincingly. Comes to Knight, throws it out towards Foot, who puts it back in towards goal. And Farrow pretty happy to see that one wide and over the goals. And that is the way in modern football, playing short from that goal kick. Longer then from Westwood, intercepted. Foot to Doy. Tried a clever flick tonight, didn't come off. And a great turn from White, but Emma just getting a toe in. And then the Devonport's White, Abby White, getting on the ball, conducting play between Park and her, and then into Foot. Good interplay from the Devonport Strikers, turned over. South Hobart a chance to drive forward. Batchelor up towards Stalker. And Park does well. Wiley clears up the line, only as far as Olahead. Swung into the box, towed away. Sims, tackled by Petheram. Now has Olahood. Park clashes into that one. South Hobart retain possession through Olahead. Then to Westwood. Now it's Kanagiza who turns that one over. Battle in the midfield. Doi to foot. Shields that one, looks to play it in tonight. But well read by Westwood, who puts that one out of play. And both sides have only conceded 2 goals in this campaign so far. An extraordinary achievement across the games for both teams. But similarly, both teams have had heavy victories as well. So one wonders whether this will be a defensive battle with the odd goal being the difference, or whether we'll see the more free-scoring side of both teams and we'll see a lot of goals. Doi, the creator of so much for the Devonport Strikers, comes to Sims, tries to get past Clifford, nothing doing. Emmett will stroll forward to take the throw in. Bit of an errant throw from Emmett, perhaps not on the same wavelength as Dorian Sims. It'll be another goal kick for South Hobart. Coming out to Westwood again. Back into Farrow, pressure from Knight. Back to Westwood. Can South Hobart play their way out here? Lovely play and not quite that touch there. Turning it over, Sims into Dory, intercepted. Ricochets back out to Clifford. Back to Westwood, who this occasion just clears. And Stalker nearly in there, but across to clear was Annalie Bidwell. Westwood. Pressure by Doyle, he's going to have to come all the way back to Farrow. Bit of a pattern emerging here. South Hobart trying to play out of the back. Devonport pressing, and South not quite able to get their way through, but that one longer from Farrow. Poorly directed, will be a throw in. The throw this time finds Doy, who turns away from Pether, and Doy, can she find the delivery into the box? Not quite, and cleared away. Up to Davis, odd bounce, skips past her, and Bidwell will go back to Mitchell. Davis pressures. Mitchell delivers long in the foot direction. Seen out there by Batchelor, and a bit of an unceremonious bump from foot. Saw Batchelor go over, and a free kick. South Hobart. Batchelor long up the line over the head of Wiley. Bidwell heads down to Wiley. Rolls it to foot. Intercepted. Stalker. All ahead. Foot flies into that tackle, gets the ball. Officials out the game to play on. Bidwell into the midfield. Petheram. Both teams will certainly be used to controlling the games they've played so far, both being dominant teams in this league. And today, one could argue, was the first time they'll match up against a side that can equally run with them. Petheram's touch, errant. Doy. Wonderful feet from Doy, great skill and a delightful pass out towards foot. Batchelor doing just enough to get there. Terrific from Doy. Last played in Victoria for Heidelberg, a youth player in Melbourne Victory system, as was Whitney Knight. Wiley. Knight. She can shoot from distance, chooses not to on that occasion. We have seen many a spectacular long-range strike from Knight, but in that occasion tried to slip it into Doy. Shape to shoot. Disguise the pass. Well defended by South Hobart. out of play. Devonport strikers throw. So we're about 9 minutes old in this game. Not really a strike on goal in anger at this stage. Plenty of football to be played here in Female Football Week. Fantastic to see the two best sides in Tasmanian women's football go head to head. Devonport have been comfortable victors in the last few times these sides have met. South Hobart have added to their squad since those last clashes, and today's fixture has been eagerly anticipated. And a victory for either side will be a real statement as we head into the middle part of this season. Wiley driving forward, slips it to Foot. He goes to deliver into the box. Blocked, back to her, into Knight. Back to Foot. Petheram closing her down, forcing an errant pass from Foot. Kanagisa clears up the line. Davis, touchdown, and just clipped out of play. Chambers pressing there, Devonport playing past her. Wiley, square ball into the middle, headed away by Petheram. Park, a new addition from Burnie United this season into the Devonport striker setup, as is Doy. A delightful pass in behind from Doy to the running Sims, but read beautifully by Westwood, who puts that one behind for another corner for the Devonport strikers. Player of wonderful technical ability, Doy. And her incisive pass there, earning the Devonport strikers this corner. King, the captain to take. Into the box. And into the side netting, a disappointing effort there from King. South Hobart let off the hook. And we'll recommence the cat and mouse play as South Hobart try to play through the Devonport strikers, draw the Devonport strikers on to them and then get in behind. Through some quick interplay. The Devonport strikers trying to win the ball back high and then direct play towards goal. On this occasion, South not able to play through. Emmett to Doy, who's left in a lot of space. A dangerous player to leave in space. Toes past one. Kanagisa alive to that. Delightful touch from White. Down to Stalker, but Abby White wins away. She goes past Petheram. Tries to get it to Doy. Not quite on that occasion. Emmett. Into Foot. In a pocket of space. Slips it through to Knight. Kanagisa just cutting that one out when it looked like Knight might be through on goal. And Chambers now a chance to go the other way for South Hobart. Longer towards Davis. At the moment, most of these attacks for South Hobart are coming from picking up that ball in midfield quickly on the counter and then trying to slip it longer through to Davis or White. Whilst Devonport's flourishes on goal have come mostly from winning the ball back high and then passing their way through that South Hobart defence. Positionally, I'd say most of the game's been played in the Devonport strikers attacking half, but South have certainly had a lot of the balls they've attempted to play out. A square ball comes off on that occasion. White, back to King. Back to White. Nice play from the Devonport strikers. Doy. What can she create? Delightfully weighted ball again here to Sims. Sims caught offside the first time in this game. Both teams do have plenty of options off the bench today, which will become a feature later on. Both coaches here today, Ballantyne and Morton, know each other well. Will their words of wisdom be at half-time? What change will they make later on to attempt to impact the game? Westwood. Longer up the line there. King First to it. Drives it down the line. It's always asking a lot of Sims there to get to that one. She will make a fist of it though and keeps it in. Terrific from Sims to chase that one down. Ball just staying in play. Then to Foot, who can score from these spaces. Trying to clip it over to Knight. Doesn't quite get to her. And all ahead. And as far as Emmett, whose first time touch, deliberately or otherwise, finds its way to Sims. Chambers. Bidwell does well on Davis there to get that one out of play. Flicked forward by Chambers. And King attempting agricultural clearance, bounces it off White. Foot winning out there. He rolls it inside to Knight, who loses out to Petheram. Her pass only turns it over to Bidwell. Comes back to Knight, to White. It goes longer to Foot. Foot not really alive to the ball in behind there, nor did she probably want it there, and South Hobart retain possession here. Long from Westwood. Emmett's header goes higher than it does long. Park then, and White. White thumps into Emmett. Aggressive from both girls, but fair. Stalker wrestling with White. And White wins so many of those 50-50 balls. White again, both girls grabbing each other. Play allowed to go on. Clifford. Longer up to a vacant South Hobart forward line. Bidwell out towards Wiley. Has to readjust to try and pick up possession, and having to do so and spin on the ball caused her to mistrap it out of play. South Hobart working their way into this one. A nice idea from Clifford there into the feet of Davis, but just not the same run as Devonport. Strikers look to move quickly on the counter from King to Knight. King overhits. I think Knight might have been in an offside position on that occasion anyway. So these sides will meet 3 times this season in the league, and probably, one would imagine, both in the semi-finals, in separate semi-finals, will meet each other in the cup final. So potentially 4 matches between these two this season. And it's an issue playing out of the back there for South Hobart, turning it over, and Knight hit it first time but didn't really catch her strike, and Farrow never really troubled to pick that one up. That's our real first shot on goal here. South Hobart, their own worst enemy. But we have had a shot. Some nearly 20 minutes played in this one. And given these sides only meet 3 times in the league this season, being victorious in one of these games, when they're likely to sweep all their other games, both these teams, can make all the difference when it comes to that ladder at the end of the season and being WSL champions. So with that on the line here, this first 20 minutes hasn't really had perhaps the feistiness or ferocity one might anticipate from what could potentially be a title deciding clash. There's been moments, but both teams seem to just be feeling each other out at the moment. Not much goalmouth action. Both teams working their way into the game. I wonder if Morden or Ballantyne will be happiest at the moment. The throw in, Petheram. White. It's to come all the way back to Westwood.
Oscar, shoulders! Oscar, shoulders!
So Hobart get themselves set up again to play out. Kanagisa up towards Chambers. Out of play. Kanagisa in foot. Batchelor. South trying to work it out again. Will they get themselves in trouble here? And that's a dangerous square ball, and Doy tried to lay it off tonight. Miscommunication. Knight. South nearly getting themselves in trouble again, and on this occasion just clearing it. And that clearance finds now with Petherham, and that's not where Wright had made the run, and now Emmett will have time to launch this one back towards the Devonport Strikers attack. Sims had her back to the pass. Now Emmett has to try and earn possession back. King does that for her. King wanting feed again. Sims turns the back. Now Doy. The clip in behind to Sims, asking her to chase that down again. She will keep it in play. 1-on-1 then. And for certainly not the first time in this game, Sims caught in an offside position. The pass is always coming from Doy. Sims is going to have to watch that line. They're going to continue to use that avenue of attack. And Kanagisa up the line then. Bit of a push from White, let go by the referee. Out of play, Devonport throw. Attempted flick from Doy, didn't quite get hold of it, and a lovely little pass into Foot, who goes to Knight. 1-on-1 then. Knight at the top of the box, fires wide of the post. Excellent from Doy, Foot and Knight, and then Knight managed to manufacture a strike on goal. Caught it all right. Trying to find the bottom corner of the goal, but was well wide in the end. To Westwood. Strikers press high again. Cleared up towards Clifford. Traps well inside to Petherham. Doy wins that. Has to be more aggressive from South as they play out. They've turned it over here. Foot couldn't get hold of it though. Bidwell down to Park. Great touch. White. Bidwell back to White. Devonport striker so clever in those close quarters in the midfield. Batchelor then can launch Chambers forward. Bidwell just sees it out of play. As we edge towards the halfway mark of this first half. Gets through a few. As they wrestle, White shields and then passes away. They'll chase the ball here. Petherham to White. Always dangerous. She cut inside. Emmett does well. Emmett does well as White tried to round her there. Certainly more physical shielding of the ball than an attempt to play the ball. And White left alone to stroll out at the fence. Doy spins on it, probably not the place to turn, and loses possession. This one comes to White, tackled by Emmett. Sims tracking back, has to turn away, there's no options back. Nice feet. Then inside to Foot. Doy lays as a pass out to the opposite wing from Wiley. Effortless. And Doy and Knight had both vacated that kind of central position, and so when Wiley's ball came into the edge of the box, there was nobody home. It's a raffle who that one has come off. Devonport strikers throw. Emmett into Foot. Thumped clear. Davis constantly having to account for a couple of Devonport Strikers players, and South have players forward here. A great chance. White, Emmett has to track. White cuts inside. Could this be the chance for South Hobart? And then Stalker probably had the chance to shoot on goal from the top of the box. Instead decided to try and roll it to Davis, who was likely in an offside position. Not quite the right option there. A rush of blood to the head of Stalker, as South had plenty of players forward. Devonport caught out there on the quick counter-attack. And South's best opportunity in this first half goes begging. But if there was to be a map for how South Hobart have looked to score, that would probably be it in this first half. Look to get numbers in behind and quickly. South throw. Clifford. Sorry, Emmett. Off the back of Clifford, Devonport throw. Nil remains. South Hobart yet to have a shot on goal. Devonport have had a couple of shots off target and one on target from Knight. Westwood away. King flies in. In South with good numbers here at the drop of the ball. Park does enough. Gets it to Doy. Sims is on early, rolls it inside to White, and then out to Sims, onside on this occasion. Sims with Clifford. Goes around her, tackled. And all red. Kanagisa there. Doy inside to Park. Rolls it to Foot, who has company. Toes it out towards Wiley. Bounces it off Batchelor into the box then. Can she get a shot away? Tried to tow it towards Foot. South looked to counter through Stalker. Park there. Her ball forward. No one home. Have an odd scoop there from Stalker. As they wrestle for it, Park and Chambers. Chambers wins out. She sees the run from Davis, gets it to her. Left 2-on-2 at the back there. And Devonport seem quite content to continue to push players forward and leave themselves a bit short of numbers at the back. Foot tries to square it into Knight. Not quite happening for either team in that final third as yet. As I mentioned, both teams incredibly defensively solid thus far this season, only conceding the 2 goals, but in fairness, both teams significantly stronger than their opposition to this point of the season. White winning a lot in the midfield there. Bidwell to Park. Park not ready for that one, and South with a chance again. Chambers waiting for an option into the box towards White, but she had 2. Davis in the box. Can she manufacture something? Emmett can't clear her feet. White is there, and finally Emmett gets it out of play. Momentary heart attack. Tom Ballantyne there as it looked like White might pinch the ball from Emmett. Emmett doing enough in the end to get that one away. And the first corner for South Hobart. I'll head over this one. Drives it into the box. Decent looking corner. Doesn't get past the first woman there in Bidwell, who heads it behind for another corner. Chambers offers short. Draws the player out. Into the box again. No. Short to Chambers. Now they look for a left-footed cross, but Foot does well to block that one, and perhaps a wasted opportunity to put the ball into the mixer there. Throw in for South Hobart instead. To Deflected by Dory. Devonport with a space in behind, a chance to counter-attack the run from Dory. Knight playing it towards her. Was she offside? The linesman's flag doesn't go up. And fantastic from Farrow. She flew off her line to nullify that Devonport striker's counter-attack. And Olahead rolls it out to Chambers. Gets it in the direction of Stalker, but deflected. A throw-in for South Hobart. And roles reversed there. It was the Devonport strikers who launched a counter-attack from deep and had space in behind. Not quite on that occasion. White then. Park. Tickles it through to Dory. Touch to White. Knight in space. Knight with Clifford. Cuts inside Clifford. Throws it towards White. And they'll recycle possession through King. Then back to Mitchell, pushing them back to Bidwell. To White. Turned over. Chance for South Hobart. Slipped in then from Stalker to Davis, who plays the pass behind White. Park. To Foot. Miscontrolled. Possession for Kanagiza. Nice ball into the midfield there, and a lovely turn. And a weighted pass in behind attempted to Davis, not quite. Now Doyle with a chance to go in the other direction. Fires it towards Sims. Was she onside? No, that's Knight, sorry. And the linesman flag goes up. A very tight call. A little bit of a personnel shift here as Knight seems to have made her way up permanently. To left wing here, Sims playing more centrally. Foot. Into the midfield, White. Delightful touch to Stalker and then back to White. Tries to laser a pass through. It comes to Davis. Can she get it under her spell? Bidwell does well. Park has Doy. And again, Knight is the outlet. Doy to the feet of Knight. He backtracks now with Clifford one-on-one. Just slows down play. Ignores the opportunity to use Doy. This play comes to a halt. Doy then. Devonport tries to work out how they can make their way through this South Hobart defence. Knight then. Always wanted to shift that one onto her right foot and was well read by Pether and White. Unable to control that one. Emmett. Down to Knight. Knight gliding inside. To Park. Out to Wiley. That's going to be cut out by Chambers. She has two Devonport strikers to beat though and can't take on both. Wiley then out to Doy. Can they move the ball quicker here, Devonport? And that is a little too quick, that first time left-footed pass. She just didn't quite have the body shape or the technique correct on that occasion, Doy. As this longer ball won't get to Davis, but Bidwell's clearance bounces off Davis. Davis a hat-trick last week. Can she add to her goal tally here? Cuts inside Bidwell. Can she fire a shot on goal? She does. Never quite got hold of it. Shot on target each then. Davis certainly able to score from those positions and did manage to cut inside Bidwell then. But Mitchell was never troubled. And Dory, another first time pass, this time finding Knight. Yeah, Devonport getting to that attacking position and then seemingly running a little bit out of ideas. White. Doy. No, Knight. Now an overlapping run from Doy. Different approach. Knight trying to take them all on. She's got to the top of the box. She lasers from 22 yards, but her strike is over the top of the bar. She danced past three. But the finish was just not quite there. And I mentioned earlier, more than capable of scoring from that range. Not on that occasion. King first to it, past half an hour played here at Valley Road in this first half. 0-all it remains. Sims, foot. Thumped away by Westwood. King cushions the header down. And White so often in the right place at the right time for the Devonport strikers in that midfield. And Wiley's clip in behind. Seen out of play. Kanakisa. And flicked on by Wyatt, which finds Bidwell out of position. Davis then has another chance to run at the Devonport defence. On this occasion, her pass won't find its way to Wyatt. Ooh, Wyatt does get to it first, but Devonport striker's goal kick it will be. Still feels a little bit like both sides just trying to work out how to best break each other down here. South also on the counter-attack, trying to hit the space in behind, and Devonport just getting stuck a little bit when they get into that final third about how to break down this South Hobart defence. Good chance here for South. Can't be trapped though by Petheram. Doy. Batchelor. Into space for Chambers. Big will get across first though. Has Park, who can turn on it. Does so. Has Foot. As they play their way out, the Devonport strikers. King has that switch on. Out tonight, uses that. Touch into Doy, touch back to Knight. Better from the Devonport strikers. They move the ball quickly. Knight fires it into this penalty spot. Cleared away. Park will clash with Olahead. Into Doy, who's grabbed. Sims tries to tickle it through to Doy, nearly cleared away and finally done so by Kanagisa. Then to Chambers, who only hooks the ball into the path of Park. Park again. Sims tries to get in between two. And they're going to have to come back into the side they went because there's no width out here on the left wing. And King's going to find herself stuck, but does make her way through what is a jam-packed central midfield space. There's no one still out on the left wing where the space is. Knight then. Curls it to the far post. An audacious attempt on Farrow's goal from Knight, but not for the first time today, just over the bar. Knight being the main attacking outlet thus far today. The one with the shots on goal. Hasn't found her range from distance yet. South allowed to bring the ball out of play without a high press on this occasion. Davis's touch doesn't find a teammate. Foot. Doy. Doy tries to get it over to Sims. Ambitious pass. Not on that occasion. Towards the halfway line, Park. Olahead. Chambers, Batchelor. Davis. Stalker's ball forward will be cut out by Bidwell. She waits for an option, comes inside to King, to Wiley, to Wyatt. Comfortable playing under pressure. Longer this time though, to Foot, who touches over. Can Sims get to it first? Sims battles with Westwood. Manages to shield it. Now she'll get it back from Park. Towed away eventually by South Hobart. Kanagisa. She'll have to come back to the keeper. And South Hobart get themselves set to try and play out. Can they move it quickly here out of defence, South Hobart? Westwood. This is where they have to get this ball here, South. Can they get it, trap it and play it forward quickly? Not on this occasion. Wyatt. Now a chance to input strikers. Foot. Tonight has had a few chances from this range. And she's come back from an offside position to pick that ball up. Just over a handful of minutes remaining in regulation time this first half. Can't imagine there will be too much stoppage time added here. Knight brings that one down. Doy and Knight. Lovely football from the two. Into Foot, who joins the triangle. Ballhead spins away from Knight and lasers a pass out to Chambers. Danger for the Devonport strikers. Bitwell out to snuff out the danger, though. Her pass back to King is intercepted by Davis, though, who can hit Devonport on the counter here. Toes it towards the top of the box. Chambers out towards White, but it bounces off her foot as she tracked backwards and then out of play. South nearly in there. And the tension remains in this game. And the longer the deadlock takes to break for either side, the further that tension ramps up here on Female Football Week, this round 7 WSL action at Valley Road. White, strong in midfield, gallops forward, tries to get it to Foot. Pass deflected. Emmett wins out. They go at it again. White wins out. And a free kick. Based on some of the tackles we've seen so far, perhaps that one a little soft. Nonetheless, a chance to get it into the box. You can hear Ken Morton saying penalty spot, so we know where this one is heading. Can kiss her over it. South with plenty of attacking talent that can pinch a goal here. Penalty spot is where it heads to. Cleared away by King to the top of the 18. Handball there. The whistle blows. The ball bouncing off Olahead's hand. As the Devonport strikers tried to clear it. Doy fires out to Wiley, overlapping from right back. The two fullbacks clash. Batchelor wins out on that occasion, and she seems like she's got a bit of a knock there. A bit of a wind. She's been winded. Wondered if it may have been a corky, but just the heavy clash of bodies there, taking the wind out of her sails, but she's bounced back quickly. Straight back into the play and bouncing it off Doy and earning a throw in. Dory spins on it, dances. Balletic. White. Tonight. Then from range, a good hit from distance from White. On target, but directed straight down the middle, and Farrow didn't have to move a centimetre and was happy to bring that down. Stalker in behind then. She moved the ball quickly. She does. She rounds Wiley. Great chance for South Hobart, but no, Park. It's tracked back. Doing the midfield work. It does seem in many ways that attacking in transition might be where this game is won. When both teams find some space in behind and they move the ball quickly. Now, a few chances have come from pressing high and catching teams trying to play out. And White hard in on the tackle there, and it seems like it might have been a bit of shoulder to head there. And in the walls a bit Batchelor, but again up and running it off. Great strength of character shown from Batchelor. Throwing into White. And just plays it up the line. Kangisa back to Farrow. Grace Sims nearly pinching that as Farrow rolled it out. And sprinting to keep that one in, just manages to do so, Petheram. But Doy, lovely feel for the game, knew where the defender was coming and just let her bounce off her so she could shield it and then make the decision where to play. Knight going herself with all ahead. She gets near to the edge of the 18-yard box, then pulls back. She has Doy for company and uses her. Doy with Petheram. Will she take her on? She does, but slips. Shields the ball. Gets a kick from Petheram. Spins away. Now it's Knight, though. And once again, Devonport Strikers slow it down. And once they've done that, they haven't really managed to find their way through. And this occasion, no exception. Doy pushing over Petheram and a free kick for South Hobart. As we tick into the final moments of this first half. What has been a tight, tense, terse affair. No goals. No real challenging saves drawn from the keepers, but nonetheless, we have seen some good football. Some chances on the counter. Devonport have played some intricate football at times too. Speaking of intricate football, Devonport played their way out nicely there with Doy, creator-in-chief, out to Knight. Attempted left-footed rolling behind, doesn't get to Doy. As the official will begin to check his watch. We have 45 minutes played. Clifford has Westwood back. Westwood pointing forward. As if it didn't come up the line, does so. Emmett wins. And then Knight. Davis able to turn on it. Doy wins it, comes to Davis, but earns a free kick. Doy. And Davis remonstrating there, saying that she was pushed first. Imagine these might be the final moments. All the way back to Mitchell. Hasn't seen too much of the football, Mitchell, outside of having it played back to her. Mitchell, laser-like pass out to the head of Wiley. Over her head and out of play. Well, this is where Monsieurs Morton and Ballantyne will earn their keep. What words of wisdom do they have for their squads at this half-time break? Formational shifts, personnel changes, motivational speeches. We'll find out all in the second half here as it remains 0-0 here at Valley Road. And
now touring at Macca's, the new Tennessee barbecue range with smoky barbecue and honey mustard sauce, crispy onions and 100% Aussie beef. But only on tour for a limit.
In South Hobart.
Now touring at Macca's, the new Tennessee barbecue range with smoky barbecue and honey mustard sauce, crispy onions and 100% Aussie beef. But only on tour for a limited time.
All the time. What's the matter on that? Like, what's the...
Look, it wasn't. When I first was playing 20 years ago, he would never, ever.
Yeah, okay, so maybe it's old school.
So it is, yeah. But in modern football, thanks to
Now touring at Macca's, the new Tennessee barbecue range with smoky barbecue and honey mustard sauce, crispy onions and 100% Aussie beef. But only on tour for a limited time.
Because it by WSL sponsor Carla Rand, owner of Face Bar in Devonport. You can purchase tickets for the gate and the canteen, $2 each, or $3, $4, $5. Will be drawn at half time in the NPL match, and you have a chance to win a Face Bar set, a glass house hand washer and hand lotion, and a gorgeous golden tray. So those tickets are available at the gate and the canteen, $2 each, or $3 for $5. Also tonight we have our last striker standing, which is in the club rooms this evening. Possible chance to win $1,500 in cash, tickets of $50. Door opens at 7 p.m. and the draw commences at 8 p.m. All welcome. And you can also purchase tickets to the ground for our tonight's last striker standing.
I don't see that even in the men's side. I don't know. Yeah, just the.
And again, it's a risk versus reward thing.
I know that opens the player up.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as you press the key,
But I don't know. I don't actually like. There's a thing in hockey where like I don't actually get the science of it or if it's true or not. But once you ask it, it's involved in it less.
yeah, probably. You're right. Yeah.
So the whole idea was to sprint, don't be a bit, just contain it towards the person who's about to snap the ball.
That's psycho. Hockey players are psycho about stuff. Like the most short corners.
Yeah.
And they're about to build the ball and you charge out. That is.
I can just
That's
flip it up in the air.
absolutely madness. Yeah. You guys are crazy.
But yeah, like there'd be like, oh, actually the one that was scary, yeah, the guy standing in the goal. I don't use it to stand in the goal. The guy got badminton.
Yeah, that's right.
The four of us, that's another thing. We have to sprint to the person hitting the ball.
Yeah,
because then either the ball could be slow or like they whiff it or like I don't know. Having people run at you makes you mess up. So, yeah, the more you rush to that person who's trying to hit the ball at you, a lot of them do issues. Anyway, the sport I've noticed. Different sports completely, but
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, there are
but saying that, like you're worried about the hockey ball or whatever, I wouldn't ever hate this ball ever.
Alright.
I've tried it once and like
Yeah, it's about timing. Right? Once you get used to timing, I think you get used to
no, you can keep that. Gives you hockey ball. They're small, you can both it easy. I had a real good one once where the ball came flying to me off the stick, just hit the hand on the stick.
Alright, Jesus. Yeah.
Good game.
Alright, this game needs to go. This one.
Yeah. But you said these are the two best teams, right?
They are, yeah.
I do notice the slight differences in the games, and I wasn't sure if it was just everyday something that seems like I was playing old, so
Yeah.
it's been a while since I played old. I haven't watched it playing, they may do this stuff good. But everything like that. That's beauty, that's like everything plays this life where being a good strategy can be
That's right.
overused
That's
one
right,
and then
yeah.
very predicted and then countered, so then you've got to go maybe to an old strat that also had a bad idea, but now it became good again because people stopped countering it. And
Yeah, no, that's you're exactly right. That's what happened. So this kind of play is probably nearly just starting to phase out.
I always thought that ball would be soft and then it's not at all. Not Valley Road. Was Middle Road. Turn off the highway. It's like there for like genuinely 10 minutes or so. And it was only like 4 or 5 cars in front of me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's every single time you had a clearing, there was a person trying to turn right, so then they got the right away. Yeah, there's only ever clearing enough for one car, and that was it. Like,
Yeah, it's a cricket attack.
it sucked. I guess I got lucky last time. I've actually, there was people going left, so I guess there's a turnaround spot somewhere up there too.
Yeah.
Because I'd see him go left and then I'd see him pass like a minute later or so. But I was always like so close that it was like, oh, my turn any time now, so I never did it. Sometimes I've noticed the wind's move after half. But then sometimes players stay on the same side even when they flip.
Yeah, it's always
Is that just they like that feeling? Or?
yeah, just trying something. Sometimes you don't have luck in it. We have to do that.
Now touring at Macca's, the new Tennessee barbecue range. With smoky barbecue and honey mustard sauce, crispy onions, and 100% Aussie beef. But only on tour for a limited time.
Only a couple of shots on target and a handful of shots altogether.
Now touring at Macca's, the new Tennessee barbecue range. With smoky barbecue and honey mustard sauce, crispy onions, and 100% Aussie beef. But only on tour for a limited time.
In women's football here. At Valley Road, and we're back underway. South Hobart looked to go forward early through Chambers up towards Davis. Bidwell with her, being in each other's pockets much of this first half. Cutting inside there, Davis, a grab from Bidwell, and a free kick earned. Calls for a yellow card from South Hobart's bench. Perhaps once upon a time a blatant grabbing of an opposition player would have earned a slice of cheese. Not on this occasion. South Hobart with the chance to cause the Devonport Strikers' defence and Mitchell in goals some trouble. The master, Ken Morton. What magic is he conjured from his players here at half-time? We see South Hobart go ahead early in this second half. Kanagisa stands over the ball. 10 yards walked. Might be kind of the parallax error, but that does seem an awfully short 10 yards. Ball in from Kanagisa towards the back post, and it's bundled in by Davis. And it is an early strike from South Hobart. The ball into the back of the box from Kanagisa to the back post, and then Davis just bundling it home at the back post. Reacted first, reacted earliest, and reacted best. And now the question is, can Devonport react from going 1-0 behind? Davis adds another goal to her tally. A hat-trick last week, another one today. South Hobart on the front foot. Delightfully drifted ball into a dangerous position from Kanagisa. And perhaps that is just what this game needs, that early goal. At times the pace was slow in that first half, but will we see that pick up here in this second? These two behemoths of women's football in Tasmania, the Devonport Strikers, undefeated for nearly a season and a half, find themselves behind, conceding only their third goal of the season. South Hobart have only conceded 2. And a danger here again as it comes to Chambers, but Mitchell collecting, and the Devonport Strikers seem to have come out a little bit sleepy here in the second half. Ballantyne, I'm sure, will be less than impressed with this start. And South Hobart with some wind in their sails. Emmett drifts past Petheram. Rolls it out to Knight. She'll have to deliver from the byline towards the back post. Couldn't keep it in play. Now, what questions can the Devonport Strikers ask of South Hobart? Much of the first half was Devonport probing at the South Hobart defence, and then South Hobart launching on the counter. Will this go to script for South Hobart? Will Devonport continuing to press, allow the space in behind the Devonport defence and further opportunities for South Hobart? Knight then on the left wing, drives it into the box, cleared away by Kanagisa, comes to Doy, who strikes a goal and nearly deflected goalward by Batchelor. And Farrow had to react quickly from Batchelor's touch that sent the ball goalward. Batchelor out to Chambers, ball flagged to have gone out of play. Was it the whole ball? I'll let you decide. Foot does well to cut that one back. Drifts it in towards the back post. Flapping a little bit at that was Farrow, but Clifford there to put that away for her teammate. Emmett with the ball. Devonport with a bit more intensity. The game with a bit more intensity now with that goal. Nice. Get one into the box. Asking a bit of Wiley, who just touches it out of play, and Chambers is out the throw. Ooh, that one deflected from the head of 40 in to the head of Chambers, and any kind of head knock there or head issue has to see play halted immediately, and the official has done that, and Chambers will get some support from the medical staff. So South Hobart momentarily down to 10. While Chambers gathers a width, Wiley's ball in is well handled by Farrow. Doy jumping across the vision at the last moment too, making that a little trickier, but caught that one well. White then. Driving through the heart of the South Hobart defence. Doy tries a back flick to White, doesn't come off. Knight then at the top of the box. She's had a few siders from here. And again, the ball into the box. Just that final pass for Devonport not coming off at the moment. To have another 40 minutes to attempt to find their way through the South Hobart defence. Park losing out there. Petheram to White. And her and Emmett continue their wrestling match. And South Hobart back to having 11 on the pitch with Chambers allowed to re-enter play after receiving attention for the ball to the head. Park and Petheram.
Pull it! Let's go, guys, let's go! Somebody behind! Yes, Kato!
Now when ricochets off White, out of play, South Hobart throw. Batchelor to take. Ball. Has the ball stayed in? It's gone out of play. They raffle it off. It is a Devonport throw, and play allowed to go on. Players have stopped. No one's sure what's happening, and Foot's allowed to turn and play the ball in behind a Sims, but Farrow collects at the edge of her box. Stalker picks that one up in space, having to make a run from deep. As Chambers cleared away by Bidwell. Batchelor down, only to Foot. White trying to get that one through to Wiley. Off the South Hobart play though, a little touch. Throw to the Devonport strikers. Wiley has Bidwell back, chooses to go up the line. Off White and out of play. So South Hobart lead. And what is an all-important fixture in the shape of this season. These two sides will only clash for 3 times this year. Both have undefeated to this point. Both have won all their games, and comfortably, with goal differences of 20 plus after their 5 games against the other opposition in this league. So the results of these 3 games are enormous, and if South Hobart can travel to Valley Road and pick up a victory on the road against the reigning champions, it would be an enormous statement in the Women's Super League, and a fantastic victory for Ken Morton and his ladies. Many would have had Devonport as favourites coming into this one. Undefeated in near season and a half at home. South Hobart more than equal to the challenge today. White flicks it forward in a dangerous position, but desperate defending again from South Hobart. A corner for the Devonport Strikers. The captain, Georgia King, will go over to take the corner. And envision Sullivan warming up for the Devonport Strikers. Perhaps a potential replacement for Wiley at right back. Lays it into the top of the 6-yard box and must have come off a Devonport player because it is a goal kick. Good corner there from King. Good pace on the ball. Direct to the top of the 6-yard box. Farrow didn't quite get there. White. Bidwell. Wiley. Batchelor gets a toe in. And now Chambers. A great ball in towards White. But King. Agricultural clearance. Well held by the man over the fence there. Off Bidwell. Chambers. Stalker. And a handball. So South Hobart again with a chance to deliver the ball into the box. It's probably another 5 to 10 yards further forward. From which the previous goal came. Have already proven to be dangerous from dead ball situations, and here's another chance for them to get it into the box. This one directed straight at Mitchell, who had to jump and palm that one over the crossbar. Don't know if the intent was to shoot a goal or just to drift it into a dangerous position, but a cross-come shot. Mitchell equal to that. As we drift up towards the hour mark in this one is when Morton and Ballantyne will begin to think about potential changes. Ball to the top of the 6-yard box again. Mitchell does well. And now Mitchell looking to get on with it quickly, trying to attack South Hobart while there's space. But it's 3-on-1 back there, and Sims is always likely to be second best. Doy, quiet start to the second half, as has Foot. Wiley, Bidwell, King. Foot peels off. King chooses not to go with her sister. Doy, touch heavy. She'll battle for it in there though. And South Hobart winning those 50-50s in midfield at the moment. King. Stepping in, the captain trying to take control. Gets it out tonight, ever dangerous. Can she find the delivery? Cuts in on Clifford. It comes to Sims. Can she fire on goal? She backpedals. A South Hobart wall in front of her. King then turns. Now she shoots. And it's touched by Doy and deflected in. And for the Devonport fans, it's a fantasy goal from their fantasy player, Doy, in the right place at the right moment. And she was the right person to draw it level. And 1-1 it is. Doy was instrumental to Devonport. Its best passages of play in that first half. And no surprise that she was instrumental. In fact, the final denouement to that move here in this second half as the Devonport Strikers have levelled after 58 minutes here. And at 1-1 this game, and the victory is back alive for both sides.
Goal scorer for Devonport Strikers, number 14, Asuka Doy. Scoreline is 1-1.
And there will be some analysis later, I imagine, on the video. Was Doy in an offside position? Was she being played on? Regardless, the shot from King was directed goalward from Doy. The Devonport Strikers finally found a way to breach the South Hobart defence. Will that goal give the Devonport Strikers momentum? Emmett in a typical usual style. I've had a couple of substitutions here for the Devonport Strikers, I should say. Sullivan has come on and Bidwell unceremoniously pushing over White, and that is definitively a slice of cheese for Bidwell here just on the hour mark. So Maddie Payne has come on as well for the Devonport Strikers, and replaced were Grace Sims and Annabelle Wiley. Now, from a slightly different angle and probably 10 yards further out, Kanagisa had a shot at goal 5 minutes ago, which was palmed over the bar by Mitchell, and this is in a much better place to strike. Kanagisa does strike, it's clipped over the bar. Rather than opting for a more driven strike, she tries to catch Mitchell out. And Mitchell relieved to see that one behind for a goal kick. King fires that one out to Emmett. Emmett driving forward. Touches inside, has Olahead there, and Olahead wins out. And she crunches into a tackle with White. Emmett still there. Doy, goal scorer. Out to Knight, who's just starting to get into the second half. It's causing all sorts of problems for South Hobart. She can shoot from distance, and she does, and thumps it off Kanagisa. White then. Back to Knight. No, cut out by Olahead. And a chance for a counter-attack. And Davis, already a goal scorer. Can she create another problem? Bidwell can't afford to foul too negatively again. That one bounces off Davis's arm. And certainly the intensity up here in the second half. King takes it early, gets just over the head with a flick from Clifford. And now again Knight has Clifford. Clifford having to do a lot of backtracking with Knight. Knight slowing it down, waiting for support, and drifts a long ball into Park. Time. Park from distance is not to shoot. Payne tries to cut past Kanagisa, but across to clear Westwood. And all of a sudden the Devonport Strikers looking the likeliest. Sullivan to Payne. Substitutes combining, only to put the ball out of play. Batchelor. Foot. Payne. And who's that come off? It's come off Batchelor. The throw for Devonport Strikers. Payne looks to take quickly, decides not to. Sullivan. Gets into Payne, who has a lovely turn, then rolls it to Doy, who has every chance to score and doesn't. Thumps it off the upright. Doy from the penalty spot when it looked like she had no other option than to roll that one home and give the Devonport Strikers a lead. Doy somewhat inexplicably just rolled it off the upright. And South Hobart hold on to a draw there just for the moment. As the Devonport Strikers will have a corner here. Doy has had such an impact on this game and looked to be at the double there. Not on that occasion. King. Again, Farrow through her hands. It comes to Doy at the back post. Couldn't quite get it under her spell. Knight does. She drills it down, but there's a wall of South Hobart in there, and Toad kind of higher than it was long. Still in the box. Finally cleared away. Park. Foot. Foot cuts inside. Gets it to Payne. Nice pass out to King, who plays it inside. Scuff shot from Bidwell. Doy back to Bidwell, who passes it into the net. The Devonport Strikers take a 2-1 lead. And it's another magic goal from the Devonport Strikers. They work the ball beautifully down the right wing and then cut it back inside. Intricate football, an intricate goal.
Outside, please.
And from behind, the Devonport Strikers have taken the lead.
Goal scorer for Devonport Strikers, number 6 on the left foot, and a lead mid-goal.
So the centre-back, finding herself forward after that corner, stayed forward. And it was two of the centre-backs involved in that passage of play as they both stayed up and were rewarded for their risk. It's often a risk versus reward game. This world game, this game we love, and on that occasion, the reward was there for the Devonport Strikers. And we have a change for South Hobart. Mamich has come on for them. Narrow pass, the Devonport Strikers throw. Robertson Mamich on for South Hobart. Foot has a couple for company. Bench the Bachelor toes that one out of play. Hollowhead and Chambers off the park for South Hobart as White steps in, nearly pinches that one, bounces off foot, then on to the substitute. Devonport still in possession. And a nice pass from Sullivan, who finds foot in a little pocket of space, dinks it in towards Doy. Couldn't quite stretch enough to get that one directed goalward, and that one skew whip up the side. A couple of tetchy moments for Farrow. Foot. Mamich in there and battling, and it's what Ken Morton would like to see from his substitute. Speaking of battling, Emmett and White continue at it. Doy drifting, gliding into the feet of Payne, back to Doy. Couldn't get it back to her. Kanagisa. And all of a sudden, some desperation in this one. So Hobart pressing high. Payne trying to get ahead to that one. And Sullivan happy to see that one out of play. Kanagisa. Knight wins out there. Squares up White. And rolls it to the Devonport's White. Continues to carry the ball and slides it into Doy. A nice idea from White, just not quite the space to play with. Bachelor has Stalker short, goes longer into the space. Asking a lot of Mamich there, but Bidwell's clearance initially missed. Traps Sullivan, Park. Turns nicely. Bidwell tries to get around the corner to foot. Cut out. Stalker. Davis. Can she bring things back on level terms? Spreads it out to Mamich, who cuts inside. Left-footed strike. She falls as she strikes, preventing her from getting the kind of strength that she would have liked on it. Ball read best in the air by Roberts, but not quite kept in by Bachelor. So we've passed the halfway mark here in this second half. A couple of substitutes for both sides and 3 goals in this second half. So certainly more action-packed than we had in our first 45. The Devonport Strikers going behind to a Davis goal early in that second half. Then equalising through Doy after she deflected King's strike forward onto goals, and then Annalie Bidwell on the left foot, drawing Devonport level after staying forward from a corner. Roberts plays it out to Petheram. She drives it into the box. There's 2 for South Hobart at the drop of the ball. Davis and Sullivan. Davis, can she fire? She does. Doesn't get hold of it. Bidwell, the goal scorer, and on a yellow card, clears away. And Batchelor happy to see that one out. She needs an option. No one moving for her. Eventually has to throw it down the line. Davis will have to beat 2. And does well, Davis. And again, about 20 minutes left here to play. All important, the result of this fixture in the shape of the season, given the likelihood that both these teams will win most of their remaining games, bar those they play against each other. And Payne penalised for using her hands in fending off Kennegeezer. She steps forward, rolls it quickly to Mamich, who turns, tackled by Wyatt, then to Payne. She'll get another chance at it. And a delightful ball through, splitting the midfield to Knight. Again has a chance to run a Clifford. Devonport Strikers on the counter attack. Knight running, Clifford down into the box, cuts it in. And a question about a handball. It was about a yard away and the arm was by her side, so I don't think, even if it did strike the arm, that it was ever likely to be penalised and a penalty. Doy was drifted over and somehow ended up taking the throw in. To reset again, not many options for Doy. Foot has to come centrally to pick it up. Doy, Knight. Foot, lovely roll from Roberts. And a great ball to the feet of Davis, who couldn't quite trap it. Mitchell has Sullivan. And the hard-running Stalker has cut it out. A great chance for South Hobart. Stalker drifts it into the box, but Mitchell is there. Mitchell will go long. Payne looking to shield the ball. Foot, a lovely idea out tonight. A chance for Knight to run inside and shoot. Clifford alive to what it was that Knight wanted to do there. Roberts. Stalker. Errant past Bidwell, fires it in, and White and Park raffle it off. Then Foot. Then Knight. Payne. Knight. A chance to shoot then. She's on the angle. Is going to have to not shoot now. And Batchelor just tickling it that night there. She was taking the ball away from goals and eventually put out of play by Stalker. Foot with no company there. A heavy touch from Foot when she was by herself. And the use of the hands there from Park penalised in the back of Mamich. Is there a big finish at Valley Road? Is there another goal in Devonport to stretch their lead? Is there an equaliser coming from South Hobart? Female Football Week, a celebration of the women's game. And a fine show these women have put on here in their second half. An entertaining affair. And a nice idea down the line towards Davis, but just eking out of play there from Batchelor. Still Oshman's on the bench for both Morton and Ballantyne. Oof. What, clearing that one away, Doy. Batchelor does well to tackle Doy. King longer. Asking Westwood just to tidy that one up. And she does so back to Farrow. Doy putting the pressure on the keeper, and the keeper's pass then turned over to, and that's going to be offside. Robinson doesn't raise the flag. The South Hobart had possession. Coming back to Westwood. Westwood into midfield. 2 there for South Hobart. Petheram out to Clifford. A hopeful ball. And White in the mix, just agriculturally thumping that one away for the moment. Ball out of play. I imagine we'll have a few added minutes here, substitutions and goals. Out of play again. Petheram. Emmett and White continue what has been a relatively fractious encounter between those two. Official letting them both get away with quite a bit of grabbing and pushing. Davis. Bidwell. Davis has had some luck one-on-one against Devonport strikers and fired from Stalker all over the bar, but Davis causing problems continuously. Good little shift of the hips there, leaving Bidwell unable to stay with her. She chose to roll the ball, Davis, there now to Stalker, who put it out of play, and we have a couple of substitutions. Just the one, Stalker off and Browning on. So Browning started in last week's win over Riverside for South Hobart and is on late here. Been given about 15 minutes by Morden to see if she can impact the game. Going to go long here, Devonport. Foot over them. Well done from Roberts to Browning. Out of play. So move into these final 15 minutes. As the players begin to tire, that stretch the game. Will the game open up? And on thump goalwards, curving and twisting, and Mitchell forced to react. That was an incredibly awkward ball. A little bit of wind, a little bit of swerve off the boot, meaning that Mitchell was never really comfortable in reading where that one was going to land, and in the end opted to be safe and palmed it away and out for a corner rather than attempt to catch. And South have scored their goal today from a set piece. Can Lightning struck twice in the same place. Roberts over this one. And never looked likely to get that one in play. Roberts and Devonport survive that particular dead ball situation. Long then from the goal kick. South pounce. Davis, she'll shoot. Deflected. Mitchell will take that. And long again. South growing in stature here these last 10-15. Bidwell. Doy and Petheram. Doy's going to win out here. And Doy drives through the midfield, foot to her right, Knight to her left, opts to go with Knight, Payne in the box, towards the back post, Payne makes the run, Knight chooses to chop inside instead and then delivers or shoots. Either way, not quite the final product from Knight. That one skewed out, Sullivan will take the throw. Foot, Sullivan. Kamagisa, Petheram. Doy and then Knight now. Knight sees the run from Payne. Was she offside? We'll wait and see. The flag is up. Payne kicks it into the goal after the whistle and the flag. Testing the officials' patience, perhaps. 2-1 the Devonport Strikers lead. Davis scoring early this half before Doy levelled and Bidwell put them ahead. Valentine, Devonport coach, will be very happy with the response from his team after going behind early. Doy slips. And then not quite the pass from Petheram. King goes long. That's just Clifford, and it's going to fall fortuitously for Browning at the top of the box, who shoots! And narrowly wide of the right upright of Mitchell. Whether Clifford meant that ball to land to Browning in space at the top of the 18-yard box, don't know, but Browning nearly made the most of it there. That momentary glimpse of goal. Good first initial sighting from the substitute Browning. Mitchell. Over. Foot. Just pumping that one clear, not having a look. Maybe Payne was on if she'd lowered her vision. Kanagisa, Batchelor. Nice football from South Hobart. Turning it over though. Knight, Payne. Kanagisa away. Over the head of Emmett. King. Doy. Knight. Foot. And thumped away then by Roberts. Sullivan and Browning battle. And it's eventually come off Browning. The Devonport Strikers throw. Park there early. Opting not to go to Park. Park's still an option. It's going to go up the line instead. Off the back of Batchelor. Now Emmett rolls it in tonight. Spins away. Spinning everything going forward for the Devonport Strikers in the second half night. Didn't find Payne on that occasion. Good pressure from Foot, turning it over. Knight. Trying to find White, who'd made the run forward. Doy shapes and then cuts and then dances and jigs. Payne has White one more over. And if she just let the ball roll across her, Payne could have touched that one to White in an open space and a chance to shoot a goal. Opted the more difficult pass instead toward Doy. The Devonport Strikers have a free kick. Nearly 30 yards plus. It'll take some strike from King. But similar tonight, we have seen strikes from King from this distance. We know that she can hit the ball with venom and verve from this range. Are we in for another such dead ball strike? This one comes to Knight, who then shoots, and not for the first time today, over the crossbar.
Oscar. Go, Marty.
So less than 10 minutes left in this one at Valley Road. The Devonport Strikers lead 2-1 in what really is a monumental fixture in the shape of the season. The ball's clipped the referee. It's going to be a drop ball. They're going to raffle it off. No, they're going to let Devonport. Foot. Park. White. Nearly to Payne. Doy pinches away there from Browning. Comes to Foot. Back to Doy. Great vision from Doy to Sullivan. But Batchelor reads that, and then Batchelor, not for the first time, seeing some heavy attention. I don't know how much was certainly intended there from Sullivan, but they both went in for the ball and just fractionally late. Sullivan, and it will look bad on the tape when they look back, and not for the first time today, Batchelor feeling the effects of a challenge from a Devonport player and in some distress on the ground, which is not what we'd like to see. Sullivan earning himself a slice of cheese for that tackle. Now, as I've mentioned before, in about a month's time, it's likely that we might see these two sides in the Women's Statewide Cup final here at Valley Road. We'll get a repeat of this fixture. And if it's as tight as today, it will be a good spectacle on what is a big day in Tasmanian football. And being helped from the ground now. Thatcher looks like she's going to be replaced. Thatcher to be replaced by Peterson.
That side, Jeff, that side. 16. Nice and tight. You three, nice and tight.
Interesting, it looks like the Devonport Strikers have made another substitution. Payne, already on as a substitute, seems to have been removed, whether that's personnel or formationally or injury-wise that she's been removed, we don't know. But she has been, the substitute has been substituted for Matthews for the Devonport Strikers.
Now go, Jim, now go. Good. How do you get across?
Matthews straight into it. She pinches the ball away from Clifford and then gets it towards goal. Westwood tidies that one up. And South have both Devonport and the clock against them here. Final 5 minutes of Valley Road. Can South Hobart find a late equaliser? Is there more drama in this game? Bidwell, tired players on the pitch now. Bidwell with Browning. Bidwell just rolls it up the line and eventually out of play. Peterson uses Davis. Doy on her back. And just direct from Kanagisa and not quite what they needed at that moment in time. White trying to keep that one in play, just not able to get there. Devonport won't be in any rush to get the ball back into play at this stage with a 1-goal lead and time their friend. Mitchell. Peterson. White heads down. Doy first to the drop of the ball. Peterson, a good pass, finds White. Been a little quieter in the second half. But now Holly Emmett is best placed here. She'll drive forward for the Devonport Strikers. Only has Knight as an option unless she brings it back, and then not really a play at the ball from Davis. And she is going to go into the book for that challenge. Cynical foul just to slow down the counter-attack there from the Devonport Strikers. And Davis becomes the second player today to have both a goal and a booking alongside Bidwell, who gave Devonport Strikers the lead, as Davis had given South Hobart the lead earlier in this half.
Jim, come on the edge. Let's capture this. Abby, get in the box.
Late on in this one. King again in no rush to put this one forward into the box then. Doy best placed. It comes to her. She swivels. Difficult technique to master though. The swivel and strike all in one movement, and on that occasion certainly was the case. High and long. White best placed. Traps it with her knees. Delicately done. Bidwell having to put on the afterburners there to get to that one ahead of Mamich. And needing an option here, Browning. Only having Peterson back and no one coming to feet. South Hobart needing to get the ball into play. Finally they do. Mamich Like the energy, she trapped it and turned and fired it into a dangerous position. There was no one there though. Knight has Matthews wider and will go to her. Touches inside, great touch from Matthews. She knows that there's not many with her. Bit of break dancing on the floor. In the end, Doy will bring it forward for Devonport, and she, maybe anticipating a run from Matthews, played it into a vacant area. Doy has Knight centrally. Turns away and then shifts the ball away from Petheram. Doy then over the head of Foot. Parker Mamich. Matthews. Devonport not committing plays forward at this stage as we tick away these final few moments of regulation time and then into added time. 3-4 minutes of added time you'd probably anticipate given the number of substitutions and the goals. And we also had some attention on a couple of occasions for Ruby Batchelor for South Hobart, so it's 4 or 5 minutes. And King happy to see that one over. Throw to Emmett, returns with it, off her back, has 2, stays on her feet, does well. King, no time for delicate play there, she decides and goes up the line, off Clifford. And out of play. Final moments at Valley Road as we are in added time. We're going to have a substitution. So Smith coming on. Whitney Knight coming off from the Devonport Strikers. So Smith just being thrown on for these final moments. Knight getting an early reprieve. Take some time off the clock too, I dare say. Doy. Foot towards Smith. Had Sullivan overlapping. Chose not to use that option. And out of play, a South Hobart throw. Two-1, Devonport Strikers lead. Big victory this will be for Devonport in the shape of the season, particularly after going behind. And Doy fires it towards the top of the 18-yard box, not a single Devonport player in sight. Foot presses Peterson there, which allows Browning some space to run. White has to come across to cover. White in towards Roberts. Matthews there towards Westwood, who's gone very, very direct. Punched rather than caught by Mitchell. Sullivan does enough to tow it away, but it only comes as far as Peterson. Peterson to White, who just kicks it as far as she can. And again, it goes all the way back. It is time to get it long, or get it launched for South Hobart. Roberts has an option to her left in Peterson, decides to go towards Davis. But now Matthews has hands on heads and hips from a few players as this one runs away. Some tied bodies. Foot. Cramp perhaps for Foot as she's been through a lot of work today. Emmett. King. Park. White. Devonport just taking time off the clock and White's clearance. Ricochets off a few and South with another chance. Is there a final twist in the tail of Valley Road? Browning was driving forward, saw there was no one to get the ball to and has to come back to Roberts. Roberts has Peterson. Delicate ball to White. And turned over. Was that the last chance? 3 minutes of added time were played. How much more? All eyes on the official. Matthews grabs at Clifford and no whistle for South Hobart. Time being taken from having to get the ball. Being directed to take the throw from the correct position. And King goes down with a bit of cramp. But that won't matter because the final whistle echoes around Valley Road. And you can hear the cheers and the horns as the vocal home crowd celebrate what is a monumental victory in the shape of this season. A 2-1 victory. They go 3 points ahead at the top of the table. In many ways, taking advantage in the psychological battle as well, ahead of what is potentially a cup final and 2 more title-deciding bouts to come later this season between these two teams. But it is Ballantyne's Devonport 2 and Morton's South Hobart 1. South Hobart taking the lead early in the second half. Across from Canagiza, bundled home by Davis, adding to her tally for the season. Saw South Hobart in ascendancy. The Devonport clawed level when Georgia King's shot on goal was directed goalwards by Sukadoi. And then Annalie Bidwell finished off a good Devonport move, which gave them the 2-1 lead and the 2-1 victory in what was an exciting second half at Valley Road in Female Football Week for Football Tasmania.
$50 tickets, winning $15
That,
in cash. You don't need to be there.
as I said, puts the Devonport Strikers 3 points ahead at the top of the table of the Women's Super League. And it is advantage Devonport. As we now move our attention to the men's NPL State League game, which has just as much riding on it. I've been Camille Douglas for this Women's Super League Round 7 fixture in Football Tasmania. And it was the Devonport Strikers 2 and South Hobart 1.
Alright guys, listen. Absolutely spent, given everything. Brilliant. Yeah. Little things we could have just done better. 5, 10 minutes, just a little bit of game. Give it away. Position a little bit. Those shapes a bit more towards it. Still go down and back to back the way you did. Let's make sure now. Get yourselves really well to the other side. Alright? Now we've got no idea what it is. Brilliant. Ready.
Hello.
Get
Come on. I was just waiting for a man to go on. Waiting for him anyway. Anyways.